Hey folks, welcome back to Cedarstone Estate. My name is Marcel, and it's that wonderful time of year where we can get our toys out, we can go cruising. So let's see if we can get this guy ready to go cruising. Wait a minute. We'll get this one ready to go cruising. All right, so we're gonna do some work on it. Let's start on that now. Well, just like that, we're in maintenance mode. So every spring, this is what I do. A year or so ago, I made a video where we showed the whole car, the process of restoring and everything. So if you want to see that, check out my playlist. I'll try to put a link to that. But right now, this is what I do every spring. I take all four tires off. I clean the tires and the wheels. I clean underneath the fenders. I clean under the car. Might be a little obsessive, but I spent 10 years restoring this, so I want to keep it nice. And another thing I do is I change the oil and just check everything else. So right now we're going to change the oil. And don't forget the motor's in the back on these little critters. Don't be looking for it under the front hood. This is the hood. So let's get changing the oil. All right, so here's the oil drain plug, and you can see the bottom of the car, still nice and shiny, clean after almost 10 years. All right, let's get that oil changed. All right, while that's draining, we're going to change out the filter. The filter, what they call the filter, would normally have been under there. I'm going to show you that right now. All right, so there's the oil filter, or what they call an oil filter. It's just a strainer with a couple of gaskets. So on mine, we've deleted it and we put a proper oil filter in there. But this owner's manual, it doesn't say anything about infotainment or anything. It shows you how to check your suspension. It shows you how to adjust your shifter, how to change the tire. Let's see. I think, yeah, it explains the transmission, all the way it works. Shows you how to adjust the brakes. Heaven forbid they show anybody this, in this generation, how to adjust your brakes. Check your brake fluid, your lights, change light bulbs, change spark plugs, doesn't even say anything about going to the dealer. So anyways, that's what's happening with the filter. All right, let's go back to the oil change. So here's our remote oil filter. This also gives us more oil capacity. I explained all this in my video when I showed you guys around the car. Up in there, there's an oil cooler and the filter. So normally these bugs would only hold maybe 2.5 quarts. Well, now with this and the cooler, it holds about 4 quarts. Way better. Give that a wipe. So I've been using Fram HP1 filters on this, but Fram's on hard times right now. They're going through bankruptcy protection from what I understand, and I couldn't get that. I tried to get a Wix, I couldn't get a Wix filter. So the closest thing I got was a PH8A, which is the same size, a little shorter filter, but it should work fine. And I've already got the gasket all lubed up already. And I've already filled it. All right, new filter's in. Remember, hand tight. I'm over here and check the brake pads. Like brand new, hardly used. There's a better look at the thickness of those brake pads. They're like brand new. And it's the same on all four wheels. I don't see any leaks on the hoses. Everything looks good and dry under here. Nothing hanging around. She looks good. Checked under here. There's our fuel pump right there. All the hoses look good. Filters there, it doesn't look dirty. So nothing's leaking under there. And same thing, brake pads are perfect here. Doesn't look like anything's falling off. Looks pretty good. So every spring I give this little bug a little bit of Bentley DNA. Volkswagen and Bentley are both the same company. So this was a charger that came with, I had a 2017 Bentley V8S, and this was the charger that came with it, but it works fine in here. I have it wired right into the fuse panels under here. So I have it directly wired in. I just plug it in. So right now the battery's right up. And this is how you check the brake fluid. You got the spare tire out. Brake fluid's in there, and that's fine. And this was a single circuit brake master cylinder, but I've since converted it to dual circuit. So a little bit safer. And while I'm here, I should check the rad. Now, where is that? Oh yeah, doesn't have a rad. They're cool. So everything's good under here. There's our nice new spare tire. Still has the wrapper on it. So these are the only grease fittings on the car. One there, above it there, and the one up there. That's it. The ball joints and the tie rod don't have grease nipples, so I'm just going to grab those. All right, so oil drain plugs back in, and a nice new gasket on there. So let's put the oil in. So what I use when I can get it, I use Castrol VR1, and you could also use hot rod oil. But the reason you use this stuff because it has a zinc additive, ZDDP, this stuff. So modern oils don't have that because it messes up the catalytic converters. So you can either buy regular oil and buy the supplement, or you can buy this stuff. This is actually made for old cars with flat tappet camshafts. And you need that lubrication, otherwise you ruin your camshafts. So this is what I use. I use 2050. I only run this in the summer. I don't run it in the cool weather at all. And I find it just keeps the oil pressure up a little bit more, and it runs a little cooler. Well, that's 3.5 quarts in now. And we're just above the full mark. Nice clean oil. So check it again after we run it. Okay, I got to button that up. Next thing you got to do is the air filters. All right, I got both air cleaners off. Now you can see the size of those carburetors. Those are twin 44 millimeters. So the original had maybe a 28 millimeter carb. This has got 4 44 millimeter Venturis. All right, I blew out those filters. I'll pop those back on. So back in this era of cars, there was no PCV valves or EGR valves. So what I've done on this one, this here is from the crankcase, and I've got a hose that goes from the crankcase up to this little filter, and I've got a hose on each side that goes. There's valve covers on both sides. So I welded a nipple on both valve covers, and I've got a hose running to both. So any fumes that come out of the motor get trapped up here. And it's just a little foam. So I'm just going to clean that out, a little bit of solvent, and we'll put that back in. All right, I'll rinse that out, mineral spirits. I gave the case a wipe. I just got to put that back together. Well, I think we're all done in here. Filters are back on. My little breather's back together. There's the electric fuel pump. I don't see any leaks from any of the hoses going with the carburetors. Everything looks intact. Fan belt's okay. You notice there's no adjuster on this. If you have to adjust it, you take this off, and there's little shims inside. So if you want to make it looser, you add shims in there, which widens the pulleys. And if you want to make it tighter, you take the shims out of there, put them on the outside, which puts the pulleys close together. Very much like a snowmobile clutch. All right, we're all done into here. One more thing to do. Correction, got two more things to do. Got to put these tires back on. So these tires, and while I had it off, I washed front and back, washed the wheels up. So she's all nice and clean. Okay, we're going to put those 4 tires on and get it back on the ground. Right, she's all back on all 4 now. Notice that back tire? This is what happens when you put a bug up. And then when you put it back down, the tires go all wonky. I'll show you how you fix that. All right, watch that tire. It's pretty easy to fix. Just like that, it fixes itself. All right, one more thing to do. A little fancy clock here. The battery only lasts so long. So I'm going to pop the battery out of that. That's out. Got a new one here. Don't go flying like the other one did. Hey, it's working. Let me set that. All right, got the correct time now. And this serves 2 purposes. It fixes my clock, and it tells me my horn still works. Perfect. Well, it's been a long time coming, but we finally got a break in the weather. And I've actually been out with this a couple times already. But I got to run some errands, and I got to get some gas. So I figured I'd take you guys with me. And so the first thing I'm going to do is check the gas. And I have my gas gauge right here. Oh, we're right near the bottom. Right down there. We're below a quarter. So it's a good thing we're going to get gas. Well, I've got another way of checking the fuel level, but it's kind of like an emergency. What I have down there is I have my reserve lever. So this switches the tank from the regular full tank, and then when you get down to about a gallon, you have to switch this lever. So right now it's in between the two. Because whenever I park the car for any length of time, I put it between the two, which shuts off the gas, and I run the carburetors out of fuel. That way this new ethanol fuel doesn't chew up the rubbers. So this is reserved down there. That's reserved down there. And this is regular tank. So just a picture on a dark country road and the car starts sputtering and you're fumbling around in the dark for that reserve lever. So you got to always try to make sure you got lots of gas. Okay, let's see if this thing fires up. It's been sitting out for a couple of weeks, and like I said, I ran it out of fuel. So let's give it a go. You can hear the electric fuel pump. And this thing has no choke, so you got to pump it lots. There you go. Fires right up. Very basic gauges. And we got 50 pounds oil pressure. That's the important one. So this thing won't it won't idle for a bit, like I said, because it has no chokes. So I'm going to shut you off and I'll turn you back on when we can actually get going. Alright, she's up to operating temperature now. We're all ready to go. Got my cool sunglasses on. I wear gloves so I don't scratch the steering wheel, and it's awful small. I just like having a better grip. Got my 260 air going, so let's go. Now most of the time I start out in second gear because the first gear is too low, but I'm just going to creep out of here in first gear. Chicken barns here. You see over there? Got chicken barns everywhere. Over there. Now this does not drive like your basic 1957 Beetle. For one thing, the original 57 had kingpins from suspension, and I modernized it to a ball joint, so it's a little better. But it's still a torsion bar. There's no springs per se. It's all just rods that twist and shocks. And more chicken barns. let's see how much this thing takes. Remember, it was below a quarter. It's 12 liters so far. It holds 40 liters. There we go, right up. That's what it takes. 29 liters, about 7 gallons. All right, let's hit the road some more. And now that we've got our errands done, picked up the groceries there. So let's see if we can find a little bit nicer ride for the way home, a little bit more scenic. Here we go. Great ride today, and starting to get cloudy. I hope it doesn't rain again, but that's what's happening lately. So we're all ready for summer. Everything's running great. As you can see, I gave her the beans a little bit. I just couldn't hold it steady with trying to hold the camera in one hand, and it's not the it's not the smoothest ride, but it can bring it right back over to zero again. It was pretty close, but I had to slow down. There was the road was just too bumpy. So I hope you enjoyed it. We got a few smiles and some waves from some people today, as usual. And if any of you guys have, your old cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, whatever, now is the time of year to get out there, use them. So we'll catch you next time. Thanks so much for watching.